Oh, not even water? Ramadan related questions answered. Ramadan will be observed at the start of April this year. Every year, Zeahaa Rehman and her fellow fasting Muslims will expect questions from peers. Oh, and I at Toronto Star. Here's her explainer. Can we eat in front of you? Not even water. Ramadan starts this weekend, meaning Muslims across the world will partake in fasting. Here is not Zeehaa's explainer on the observation. On the star. You say Muslims or Muslims? I have fasted during every Ramadan in the decade that I have lived in Canada. And every year from middle school all the way to university, even in the workplace, my fellow fasting Muslims and I will expect questions from peers about what Ramadan it is, or what Ramadan is, why we observe it, and whether it's okay to eat in front of us. The answer is yes. I am frustrated at the frequency with which we have to answer these questions. However, I understand that they stem from a lack of information about Islam and Ramadan in North America. While I cannot overhaul the school curriculum of an entire continent, let me remedy a portion of this gap by answering some frequently asked questions about Ramadan. What is Ramadan? Ramadan is the ninth month in the Islamic calendar. It marks a 29 to 30-day period, depending on when the next moon is sighted, signaling the beginning of a next month, in which observing Muslims abstain from eating or drinking between the Fajr prayer, which occurs when dawn breaks, and the Maghrib prayer, which occurs when the sun is fully set. Uh, I don't know. Anyways, when is Ramadan this year? And how many hours will you be fasting? Ramadan will likely begin on April 2nd and last until May 2nd, give or take a few days depending on the moon sighting. I feel like I'm already in Ramadan. The number of hours Muslims fast, just like the amount of sleep I get during Ramadan, varies. Muslims in the GTA will begin fasting for nearly 14 hours a day this year, and their fast will expand to approximately 16 hours as the day gets longer, an improvement from the 17 to 18 hours during the last 2 years when Ramadan was observed in May. Wait, why do the hours change? Since the Islamic calendar, uh, 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 no, since the Islamic calendar follows the lunar cycle, and 12 months in the lunar cycle consists of 354 days, every year the beginning of Ramadan moves approximately 10 to 11 days back on the Gregorian calendar. The ever-changing dates of Ramadan and the time zone one lives in determine the timings for Fajr or Maghrib. These timings, in turn, determine how many hours Muslims fast. How do you make and break a fast? Muslims typically have a meal before making their fast called suhoor or sarai. It is possible to fast without suhoor or sarai or sahiri, whatever. I have done this numerous times in favor of sleep. However, it is recommended to eat as one will not be eating or drinking. See it again. I have done this numerous times in favor of sleep. Oh, they have a meal and they let it really process. Muslims also have a meal after breaking their fast called iftar. In my household during Ramadan, this practice also becomes a 30-day period when my sister and I argue every day about whose turn it is to make iftar and whose turn it is to wash the dishes afterwards. All this while complaining about why our brother, who is conveniently absent every time this debate occurs, doesn't have to do either. There's no ruling on how elaborate iftar should or shouldn't be. This means this is also a 30-day period. When I convince myself into thinking I can lose weight by preparing a simple iftar, while making every fried food imaginable out of hunger. The table just feels empty if there aren't any pakoras or mini samosas. I just went through a big Ramadan just last month into now. Oh my God. I remember when Buddy gave me the cheeseburger. That was the end of the Ramadan. I remember I felt like ashes, worse than ashes. No, not even water. I feel like fasting Muslims should buy merchandise with this phrase so they can point to it as need. What if you're severely ill? If you are severely ill, then you can obviously break your fast to save your life. If you are metaphorically dying from thirst or hunger, that's sort of the point. Fasting is meant to bring Muslims closer to God by teaching them to resist their worldly impulses so they can focus on religious matters instead, increasing Muslims' gratitude toward God for the food and other blessings. It encourages Muslims to be more charitable by allowing them to emphasize with the less fortunate. What if you're really old or a young child? Fasting is obligatory for every Muslim who has reached puberty, which excludes young children. But there are no exceptions, or sorry, there are exceptions for people who are ill, elderly, pregnant, or menstruating. Is it okay to eat in front of a Muslim person during their fast? Yes, many Muslims have been fasting for several years, if not decades at this point. The sight of you eating food will not cause us to lose control and devour everything in sight. That only happens at Muslim weddings. It isn't hard to be around food when you can't eat. Isn't it hard to be around food when you can't eat? Sometimes. But I'll be honest, rarely have I ever seen someone eating something that both looks and smells so delicious. And maybe this is due to years of fast. What's harder than not being able to eat is not being able to drink any caffeine in the morning to wake myself up. Generally, like, man, I am not go. I only, I'm eating. I don't know. Okay, if there's people and you're eating and they're not eating, it's sort of like, why is this person watching me eating? I feel unsafe. Is this person looking to rob my bank account for after Ramadan? Because people are not stupid. They know what Ramadan is, they like it. But why is this person just scoping everybody out on their telephone doing text messaging? Who are they messaging? Because that's what I see sometimes. Ramadan is sort of, if you're thinking that, because I think Ramadan like at my house, just starving and then letting it process and all this. But what is the other one? Is that some sort of, oh, we are God's people, so we deserve to take advantage? Ramadan is sort of like a PC Optimum rewards event at Shoppers. The reward for any good deed you do during it. I don't agree. I agree with religion, but I don't agree with any ignorance or excuse to the law. If you violate the law, no matter if you're God's person, if you follow the commandments of no tattoos, no gold, no this, no that, it doesn't matter. You still go to prison just as much as anybody. Since we aren't ones to pass up on such a good deal, Muslims try to perform as much worship and good deeds as possible. Aside from volunteering and donating the money if we can, we read the Quran and its translation and detailed explanation if we have time. We do tasbih, the Muslim version of rosary, and pray all 5 mandatory prayers. Those ones we were talking about before, as well as 2 other ones. There are 3 other ones. Esha or whatever, as well as the Tarawih prayer, preferably as part of a congregation in a mosque. I've been in front of a mosque before. I even ate at there's a food thing right on Parliament Street Mosque in Toronto. I went to it. I didn't go there, but I went next door. There's a food place right in it. Right, yeah, right next door. I think it's attached. And I seen all the people gathering for mosque. Yeah, this one here, Umar bin Khattab. Khattab. I ate there. They have food there next door. And the food was great. I even have pictures of the food. And you'll see it. You can see it on my Google. Search up my name on Google. It's still there. I'll get it on Instagram again. This mosque here. And then right beside there was a food place. I had the Arabic food. It was great. I like Arabic food like very much. Fatouche salad, hummus, tabbouleh. Never had this. Katahara, I heard of that one. Kibbeh. I like a fatouche salad. It has that pita, fried pita. I love baklava. Very nice treat. My friend Susie, whatever, my brother's late girlfriend, she was the one who first showed me baklava in the Donair restaurant. Here's kofta. I like kofta, and I think this is shish tawuk, quite possibly. That's a chicken kebab. You have the pita bread or non breads and all that, different kinds of breads, roti and all that. It's good. It's very good. I love hummus. Falafel. I like that. I like these little pastry things, sausage pastries, because I've tried it so much. Like a king, I've tried. Look at this one with the kofta and the potatoes under. This one looks really good. Wow. I can even pronounce all the stuff naturally, like the way it's supposed to. And the rice has saffron in it too, some of them. I had this one dish. When you get sick of all the other dishes, the more famous ones, you start to get in more of their other ones. And that's how I started to get. And I tried this one Indian one. It was so good, man. But I see how the Arabic food is. Yes, it was very great. These high quality beef mixture kofta. It's like almost like a meatloaf. Oh, it's so good, man. Like a mobile meatloaf. We got olives. This looks like a good plate. when I have falafel, I like it to be hot, right out of the deep fryer. And I like donaires too. That comes from Turkey. Now I understand it as I'm older. When I was a kid, I did not understand it. Now I understand where everything comes from. All that. This one's like originally from, it's like a Turkish. That's Middle East. And I had a lot of Turkish friends, but they were so nice. They said, I didn't even consider them Middle East because at the time when I was growing up, it was the Iraq War, all that. Now that's all over with. And so now my understanding is way much clearer. Look at this one, chicken with the white sauce. They got lots of places you can get all this food in America now, Canada too. A lot of people came from other places and they start their businesses here. I just seen KFC had Iraqi people. I hadn't seen Iraqi people in years, like 15 years. We don't have many Iraqi people in Canada. I think they all got I think what happened was when they went to war with Iraq, they also immigrated a lot of folks to America or around there. This is the first time I've seen Iraqi people in years. The chicken was amazing. We don't have many Iraqi peoples up north in Canada. They're down in the United States or whatever. From back Iraq war. They've been living in the United States as American citizens, owning businesses like KFC. And just because the person is working the till, that's sometimes the owner of the business. And I've known that for years. A lot of them are like families. You have the manager, owner, and you have everybody working with them, and they're like a family. They own the KFC. That's their KFC. So I think a lot of managers and the managements and the corporations can be a little bit sweeter to people. Start offering more incentives. I've called for that for years. Feed your employees like a family member, and I guarantee you'll have them for a whole lifetime. You'll never have to switch the payroll or until they're not useful anymore. And they'll keep coming back to you because you're the one that feeds them. If you're the one that feeds them everything, if they can get a two-piece chicken or something like that, or a two-piece tender, or even a one piece with a small fries for every employee every 2 days or something like that, you'd have them for a lifetime. But make it part of the policy so they don't feel like they're just stealing it. Because some of them don't steal an extra tender. Like some people, when they work at fast food, they'll take an extra tender and eat it or whatever, and that's their little incentive. But then some people are like, no, there's no official rule. KFC say I can have one free tender, one, yeah, so they do not touch it. And then they go home and they are like, it eats them alive. They never took that free tender. I don't know what the heck. Anyways, but I'm sure there's lots of incentives. Look at this original recipe tenders bucket. Fries. This looks really good. I got to make some to eat. Your safety is our number one priority. The chicken is a really close second. We've introduced a number of new measures to ensure the safety and well-being of our guests and employees. Safely prepared. Floor decals help maintain distance, protective barriers installed at checkout, Cashless payments for your safety. Pin pad cleaned after every use. We needed this stuff for years and years and years. My hands smell worse than a pin pad right now. I gotta freaking go wash them because I think I just held a pin pad to grab my beverages. Employees wear masks where physical distancing is difficult. Restaurants disinfected throughout the day. Frequent hand washing and sanitization. No one touches your food after it's cooked. Safe sealed delivery. Delivery bags are sanitized between each guest delivery. Curbside pickup options where takeout ordering isn't available. Delivery drivers maintain distance. Delivery bags sealed with a tamper-proof sticker. I love how they did that. That's been around for a while now, those tamper-proof stickers. Okay, we got somebody. I didn't know this. Oh, who's this? Colonel Harford Sanders. Was that his name? Harford? Harlard? Colonel Sanders. Is this a new guy or is this the original Sanders? No, the original Sanders. Colonel Harlan Sanders. Here he is here. He lived in Canada too, eh? He lived in Canada. And they say he's part Asian. Like he looked a lot Asian in some, and then in others he didn't. He must have been eating a lot of Asian food or something. And when you start to get older as a Caucasian, I think you start to turn a little more Asian. Because have been starting to turn a lot more Native, a lot more Asian. Yeah. Look at him here. He's big out in China. But anyways, not just for the way he looks, but also what he offered, that big bucket of chicken. I hate that blue thing button, how it always pops up the way it does. Here he is here. Looks like an American in this one. That's why I think he had to move up to Canada. Eh? He became big in Kentucky. We suffered the same thing, eh? He was big in Kentucky. He started this big business in Kentucky. And I think they drove him up to Canada. They said, you're more like an Asian. See, that's what they do. And then once you get to Canada, they say, go to Asia. But also there's a lot of people that live in Canada good too. Like I said, I'm part Asian too, and he was very wealthy of a man. And he fed people like armies of people, armies continuously still. But the colonel has became embedded, inbred in culture where people don't know his day to day life. You just have to sort of think, well, sort of. I'm one of the people that could tell you maybe a certain like that, like I just said about how he might have suffered being a little bit like looking a lot Asian in certain areas. Because why did he move from Kentucky to Canada? I mean, if you have a really nice property down in Kentucky, but that's the thing, he didn't. He had like this motel thing that was attached to a shop, heavily busy with a lot of foot traffic. He probably couldn't even read a book. There was something happening on the street or something all the time. Canada's got a lot of land. He probably came up here to settle down. He made his business and it was popping and it all got taken over. He didn't even have to run it anymore. Well, he did as the CEO, but you had people all making the chicken. Everybody wanted hot, fresh chicken. So much so that Colonel Sanders didn't even have to cook any buckets. He just
This
they
is Colonel.
started the buckets started cooking for themselves. People wanted the dang chicken that bad. He came up with a recipe, how it worked. Came up, he had all the machines in the beginning, and they just basically took over.
Colonel Sanders. It's probably that he made. Well, it's that he's a colonel. Heck, you might even think Colonel is his first name. Certainly more people could name Colonel Sanders Parker. Sanders.
Especially with those brick and mortars. They did that with the Hogs and Hillbillies so far with the one location or whatever. But I never seen that Hogs and Hillbillies getting met much either. You could have like 2 or 3 of them in the whole United States. You have one in Tennessee, one in Arizona, or one in either Colorado or Arizona, and one in South Carolina or something. And that's what that one is. That Hogs and Hillbillies. I don't see Hogs and Hillbillies getting to be. Yeah, you could see a 3 locations or something for that one, but nothing like a KFC went international. KFC's in Japan. They eat it every Christmas. A lot of people, all the most wealthiest Japanese, will have it, even if they are sick of it. You have to have something the KFC. Or else you're going to be complaining when you see the next person with the bucket and the biscuit and everything, and you didn't even have it. No, even the wealthiest people just have it. It's a big thing. You buy it just to buy it. You get the taste, the smell. Haha, you have it. I have it also. There's no hate. And you tell your story with it. Oh, mine, I ate this much, but so and so ate a lot. So and so, the first time they ever had KFC. And that's that person's whole life when they're growing up. That bucket of chicken or whatever, couple pieces that or whatever, grew them up or whatever. But you got to watch who you're feeding too. But if they're your family. Anyways, that's got nothing to do with me. That's got nothing to do with me. You're talking to a whole different side of the family, bud. I don't have any kids. And all that.